Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Your presence means the world to me. We're thrilled to present to you our video dedicated to Metaxytherium. Enjoy. Metaxytherium is an extinct genus of dugong that lived from the Oligocene until the end of the Pliocene. Fossil remains have been found in Africa, Europe, North America, and South America. Generally marine seagrass specialists, they inhabited the warm and shallow waters of the Paratethys, Mediterranean, Caribbean Sea, and Pacific coastline. American species of Metaxytherium are considered to be ancestral to the North Pacific family Hydrodamalinae, which includes the giant Steller's sea cow. As we venture forward, let's examine discovery and naming in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. The first remains of Metaxytherium were described in 1822 by Anselm Gayton Demarest as a species of Hippo H. medius before the genus name Metaxytherium was coined in 1840 by de Crystal. Although the type species was initially designated to be M. coveri, later publications argued that the two species are synonymous and M. medium thus holds precedence. The grammatical changes of the species name were made to match the rules of the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature (ICZN). M. cereshi was introduced by Gervais in 1847 to encompass the Metaxytherium finds made in Montpellier, France from the early Pliocene. Although he later described and figured multiple specimens, no type specimen was ever introduced. M. florinum was named in 1922 by Oliver P. Haig based on a piece of a right maxilla discovered 11 years prior near Mulberry, Florida. The genus Thalattoceran, described by Sickenberg in 1928, was erected from remains previously named M. petersi. However, further research concluded that it should not only be synonymous with Metaxytherium on a genus level, but is also indistinguishable from M. medium as a species. M. arctidites was named in 1994 by Aranda Monteca, Doming and Barnes based on 3 specimens found in California and Baja California, constituting the first valid record of this genus from the northeastern Pacific. The most recently described species is Metaxytherium albifontanum, described in 2014 by Jorge Velez Schwab and Daryl P. Doming. The name Metaxytherium means in between beast or intermediate beast from the Greek metaxy and therion. The name derives from the original interpretation of it being an intermediate form between dugongs and manatees. There are several genera that are now synonymous with Metaxytherium, including Thalattoceran, Halianassa, Phelcinotherium, Chiriverium, and Hesperoceran. Several species previously considered distinct have likewise been synonymized with already established Metaxytherium species. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening discussion on species in the upcoming portion of this video. M. albifontanum. Described in 2014, this species inhabited what is now Florida and South Carolina during the late Oligocene. The species name albifontanum is a composite of the Latin albus white and fontanus of a spring, a name chosen due to the holotype being discovered near White Springs, Florida. More specifically, M. albifontanum was discovered in the Porter's Landing member of the Paratethys Formation and the Chandler Bridge Formation of South Carolina 25.7-23.6 mile. It is the stratigraphically oldest species of Metaxytherium and relatively small, with a body size of 2 to 3 meters. Arctidites. M. arctidites is found in mid-Miocene 15-14 Malayas of California and Baja California, specifically the Topanga Formation and Rosarito Beach Formation. The name is a combination of the Greek Arctus and Hodits, in combination translating to North Traveler, an allusion to the genus dispersal northward as evidenced by M. arctidites. The authors further note that the genus name Metaxytherium intermediate beast coincidentally also works as an allusion to it being a bridge between the Halotheriana and Hydrodamalinae. This species may have been less shorebound than other Metaxytherium, found in true marine sediments alongside mysticed whales, toothed whales, and pelagic sharks. Cratagants. A West Atlantic species found in the early to middle Miocene Montra Formation of Peru as well as the Hawthorne and Calvert Formations of the United States, extending its range from western South America to the northeast of the United States. M. cretagans existed from the approximately late Hemingfidian Ca. 20.44 ma to the early Barstovian Ca. 13.6 ma. The two species M. calvatans and M. rivero from Cuba have both been sunk into this species as well. Floridinum. Named after the state of Florida, M. floridinum is found in the middle to late Miocene rock layers of northern and central Florida, with many remains being found in the phosphate mines of central Florida, belonging to the Lower Bone Valley Formation. M. floridinum remains specifically date to the late Barstovian to early Hemphillian age 14.7 ma. It reached a length of approximately 3 meters. Criculetsi. M. criculetsi is the oldest species of Metaxytherium known from Europe, inhabiting the shallow waters of the central Paratethys as well as nearby waters. The vast majority of M. criculetsi fossils have been collected from the Bergschleenitz Formation of Eggenberg Bay, Austria. Fossils date to the Eggenbergian age 20.8 18.3 ma to the Adnangian 18.317 ma. A specimen from France tentatively referred to M. criculetsi dates to the Carpathian age, roughly 17.5 16.5 ma. The Metaxytherium bonids of Eggenberg Bay have been suggested to represent mass death sites, possibly the result of reduced food supply following heavy storm events known to have occurred in this part of the Paratethys. The species was named in honor of Austrian geologist Johann Criculetz. M. medium. The type species, M. medium, is known from the Middle Miocene Langian of Western and Central Europe, France, Netherlands, Austria, Greece, and presumably Northern Africa. The most recent records of M. medium stem from late Miocene Tortonian Tuscany 10.5 to 8.14 mom. Serashi. A species originally described to include Pliocene early Xanthlan specimen from Montpellier, France. Later discoveries extended its range to late Miocene latest Tortonian Italy as well as Sahobi, Libya. M. serashi is notably smaller than any of the European species before or after it across its range, while the size of the tusks have relatively increased. It was named by Paul Gervais after Marcel de Serres. Suberpeninum. M. suberpeninum, the last species of Metaxytherium in the fossil record, lived in the early and late Pliocene of Italy and Spain. It is the only species of Cyaneans that lived in the northwestern coasts of the Mediterranean Sea in the Pliocene and disappeared from the Mediterranean around 3 million years ago because of the progressive climate cooling. Fossils of these dugongs have been found in various parts of Italy, Spain, and possibly on the island of Malacca. M. suberpeninum marks a return to greater body size in European Metaxytherium for 5 meters and possesses the largest tusk of this particular lineage. Image size equal width x height to bar increment x plotary equal left x bottom x top x right x. Period equal from 33.9 till 2.588 time axis equal orientation horizontal scale measure equal unity increment start 33.9 scale measure equal unity increment start 33.9 time axis equal orientation alignments equal justify. Colors. Legends idu value renidum value blue id black id white it's a nosig value a bid palusion value a bid oligocene value a bid nusion value a bid nielsen value a bid pliocene value a ardita moratapa space bor paritapa space bonum the space bor period the space borer plotita Aline center text color black font size markline black width shift 7 for bor period from -33.9 till -23.03 color oligocene text oligocene from -23.03 till -5.332 color Mearson text Mearson from -5.332 till -2.588 color Pliocene text PO. Aratap from -33.9 till -23.03 color Palusion text Palusion from -23.03 till -2.588 color Nusion text Nusion. Plotdata. Aline left font size markline white width anchor from Alinerite. Color Barnum from 25.7 till 23.6 text. Albifontanum color Barnum from 20.44 till 13.6 text. Crataegus colorum bunum from 15 till 14 tex. Arctodites colorum bunum from 14 till 7 tex. Floridum coloru bunum from 20.8 till 16.5 tex. Crihuletsii coloru bunum from 15.97 till 8.14 tex. Medium coloru bunum from 7.3 till 4.5 tex. Cereshi coloru bunum from 5.3 till 3 tex. Suberpeninum. Plodita. Aline center text color black font size markline black width. Or period from -33.9 till -23.03 color Oligocene text Oligocene from -23.03 till -5.332 color Miocene text Miocene from -5.332 till -2.588 color Pliocene text Plio. Ora from -33.9 till -23.03 color Paleogen text Paleogen from -23.03 till -2.588 color Nusian text Nusian. There are tentatively referred specimens from the early Miocene Piribus Formation of Brazil and undetermined remains from the Middle Miocene Parana Formation of Argentina. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine evolution and its connections to our previous discussions. The exact origins of Metaxytherium are complicated and not entirely understood, with the two basal-most species being known from opposite sides of the Atlantic. Jorge Schwab and Daryl P. Doming propose in their 2014 paper that the closest relatives to the clade comprising dugongs, Metaxytherium and Hydrodamalinae are native to the Caribbean, suggesting a West Atlantic Caribbean origin of the genus. This would place Caribosa, an aura-related genus, as a potential ancestor of Metaxytherium. They further suggest that the genus must have originated during the Middle Oligocene, due to the two basal-most taxa likely having already diverged from one another prior to the Chattian. However, the large distance between these basal species, M. albifontinum and M. crihuletsii, may indicate that their origin is more complex than currently understood. Research conducted prior to the description of M. albifontinum instead generally suggested a European origin of Metaxytherium, possibly derived from Lentironium cristoli, previously Halotherium, and eventually forming an anagenetic lineage of European and North African Scienians. While M. crihuletsii and M. medium go through only relatively slight morphological changes, M. cereshi represents a strange diversion from the overall trend observed among the European Metaxytherium crinispecie. Generally, the European forms of this genus seem to grow to progressively larger sizes, beginning with M. crihuletsii and culminating in M. suberpeninum. M. cereshi, however, is notably smaller than its ancestors and descendants. Originally, Doming and Thomas suggested that this drastic reduction in body size may have been a direct result of the Messinian salinity crisis, creating suboptimal conditions for the European seagrass fields and in turn affecting the Scienian population until the plant life could recover. The drastic increase in tusk size would also support this hypothesis, suggesting that when faced with declining resources, the European Metaxytherium adapted to better exploit what was available, including the rhizomes of seagrasses. However, more recent discoveries from Italy suggest that M. cereshi already existed by the time of the Messinian salinity crisis, and the dwarfing may instead be a result of the Tortonian salinity crisis 7.87.3 Ma. Although earlier than previously assumed, the circumstances that caused the size decrease have remained similar. The relict species M. suberpeninum represents the last stage of evolution of the European Metaxytherium, returning to and even exceeding the body size of the early and middle Miocene species while continuing the increase in tusk size and strengthening rostral reinforcement. Like M. cereshi, M. suberpeninum was endemic to the Mediterranean following the isolation of the Paratethys that previously supported Metaxytherium. Despite its adaptations to the cooling climate, Metaxytherium suberpeninum failed to change its seagrass-based diet in the same way the Hydrodamalinae of the Bering Sea did, eventually dying out towards the end of the Pliocene as temperatures continued to drop. The presence of Metaxytherium species on the western coast of the Americas, in addition to their close phylogenetic ties with the Hydrodamalinae, has been suggested to represent a second anigenetic lineage starting with M. crataegens entering Peru via the Central American Seaway. M. arctodites has been hypothesized to be a direct descendant of this species found further north along the Mexican and Californian coastline. The hypothesis also suggests that this northern lineage would further give rise to Dugong and eventually culminate in the algae specialist Hydrodamalinae, which persisted until historic times. Unlike the European forms, which continuously evolved larger tusks to deal with the environmental changes of the late Miocene Mediterranean, the American lineage took a different approach, gradually shrinking their tusks until losing their teeth entirely in Hydrodamalinae. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of phylogeny and explore its various aspects. Phylogenetic analysis suggests that Metaxytherium is a paraphyletic genus with close ties to the Hydrodamalinae, sea cows native to the colder waters of the northern Pacific, including the giant Steller's sea cow. Generally, analysis consistently recover Hydrodamalinae sea cows to be a direct offshoot of the American lineage. M. suberpeninum and M. cereshi are generally accepted to be sister taxa, and M. crituletsi appears as the most basal-most member of the genus. Velez Schwab and Domning recover the following tree in their description of M. albifontinum. The following phylogenetic tree is a simplified version of the results produced by Kerber and Morosantos 2021, recovering similar results with the exception of a polytomy within Metaxytherium, similar to that recovered by Sorby et al. 2021. In their phylogeny, Cyanea is limited to manatees and dugongs. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting diet and exploring its implications in greater detail. Unlike modern Cyaneans, Metaxytherium is known from a multitude of environments that it shared with other species of sea cows. M. albifontinum, for instance, coexisted with both Crenitocerium alcini and Dioplophyrium manigalti. A variety of anatomical adaptations can be directly tied to differing foraging habits and dietary preferences. This includes the degree to which the snout is downturned, the size and shape of the tusks, and naturally body size. Tusk size and shape in particular is strongly tied to foraging habits, with larger tusks allowing Cyaneans to uproot the rhizomes of seagrass. Larger body size, meanwhile, allows for more efficient grazing and larger foraging areas while deterring predators, while smaller species are capable of foraging in waters too shallow for larger species. In Oligocene Florida, the three present species mostly differ in tusk and body size. Dioplophyrium is at least a meter longer than either symmetric species and possessed strong tusks well adapted for uprooting strong seagrass. M. albifontinum is close in size to Crenitocerium, but possesses smaller tusks, most likely preferring small-sized rhizomes and thus avoiding competition with the larger tusked species. In a 2004 publication, McFadden and colleagues attempted to determine diet and habitat of the extinct Cyaneans of Florida using isotopic values. Concerning Metaxytherium, both M. crataegens and M. floridinum were analyzed. In modern taxa, dugongs show a sharply downturned upper jaw, generally associated with its grazing lifestyle, while manatees have comparably shallow rostral deflection. Although not thoroughly researched, it's hypothesized that the downturned snout helps with grazing by keeping the mouth close to the ground while maintaining a horizontal posture for the rest of the body. Both types of skull morphology can be seen in the two analyzed taxa, with M. crataegens having a relatively straight upper jaw while M. floridinum shows a strong downturn similar to the dugong. Despite the more manatee-like morphology of M. crataegens, both species were recovered with mean carbon isotopic values that would indicate a specialized seagrass diet. There are some outliers, however. 3 of the 7 M. floridinum specimens from the Clarendon and early Hemphillian later Bone Valley sequence show carbon isotopic values indicative of a diet consisting of plants, which plants in particular, however, could not be determined. Oxygen values generally support a marine lifestyle, but 3 isolated specimens may have lived in freshwater. There was, however, no overlap between the freshwater specimens and those not specialist in seagrass. The diet of the European lineage, meanwhile, followed a clearly observable trend from the Miocene to the Pliocene. Early taxa such as M. crahuleti and M. medium had small tusks and likely fed on the leaves of seagrasses as well as small to medium-sized rhizomes. The Tauntonian and Messinian salinity crisis may have caused shifts in the seagrass flora of the Mediterranean basin, leading to a greater percentage of rhizomes in the diet of Metaxytherium and causing the medium-sized tusk condition seen in Encereshi. As conditions in the Mediterranean stabilized, previously dominant seagrasses such as Posidonia oceanica recolonized the area and become a key component in the Saionians' diet. M. suberpeninum could have developed its larger tusks to specifically feed on the thick and nutrient-rich rhizomes of Posidonia rather than returning to their previous diet. This would have been furthermore beneficial as Posidonia provided a relatively stable food source compared to some of the other seagrass species, which fluctuate in availability between seasons. With our curiosity piqued, let's embark on a dedicated exploration of predation and its fascinating intricacies. In 2012, the disarticulate skeleton of a young Metaxytherium, tentatively referred to MCF, medium due to its stratigraphic position in the Badenian, was found in Styria. Although not particularly complete, the fossil proved to be significant as it was preserved alongside 7 teeth belonging to the extinct tiger shark Galicidoodumcus. Furthermore, the ribs of the specimen bared grooves perfectly matching tiger shark dentition, showing that one or more sharks fed on the carcass. Another paper from the same year describes fossils of M. suberpeninum that bear tooth marks similar to those of extant juvenile blunt-nosed six-eel sharks. Although adults are known to inhabit deeper waters, whereas Saionians prefer the shallows, juvenile exanchid sharks have been observed feeding in shallow waters at night. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.